The desert night was heavy with silence, the kind of silence that pressed against the skin, broken only by the whisper of wind carrying grains of sand across the barren earth. A lone cowboy, weary from days of riding, found himself halted beneath the silver gaze of the full moon. His boots crunched softly as he shifted his weight, his hand resting near the worn leather holster on his hip, though no threat yet stirred the shadows. He wasn't expecting anyone out here, not this far from town, not in the heart of land where only coyotes dared to wander. But then she appeared like a vision stitched out of light and mystery, her black dress flowing with the desert breeze, her veil trailing like a dark river behind her. She held a rosary tight, fingers pale against the beads, eyes sharper than any blade he had ever faced. The cowboy had fought bandits, outlaws, and the wilderness itself, but never had his heart raced as it did now under her gaze. She did not tremble in the cold nor falter at the sight of his rugged figure. Instead, she stepped closer, her eyes locked on his with a strange fire burning in their depths. And then she asked it, her voice low, steady, and haunting, as though she already knew the answer before the question even left her lips. "Cowboy, do you fear me or desire me?" The words hung in the air like smoke from a campfire, impossible to wave away, impossible to ignore. His throat tightened. For a moment, the cowboy forgot to breathe. Fear? Desire? He had long buried both in the dust of the frontier. To desire was weakness. To fear was death. Yet her question split him open, forcing old truths and hidden scars to rise to the surface. He remembered the faces of those he had lost, the nights he spent in solitude with only the stars for company, the endless ride that seemed to have no end. And now here she was, a woman dressed like a bride of the church, standing in the very heart of nowhere, staring at him as if she had been waiting for him all along. Who was she? Was she real or just another ghost of the desert, sent to test the last shreds of his soul? He wanted to speak, but words failed him. Instead, he watched her, caught in the pull of her presence. She took another step forward, her rosary swaying gently, the moonlight catching the silver cross at its end. The desert itself seemed to lean in, holding its breath. The cowboy felt the pull of something he couldn't name, something he had fought to keep buried for years. And though the fire in her eyes burned with both warning and promise, he did not draw his gun nor turn away. He only stared, torn between the sharp edge of fear and the deep well of desire. The night deepened, and with it, so did the tension between them. The cowboy's jaw clenched as he struggled for control, his mind racing through possibilities. Was she a test of faith, a temptation, or something far darker? Her lips curved into the faintest trace of a smile, though it carried no warmth. "You hesitate," she whispered, her voice soft but cutting through the desert air like steel. "The men who came before you didn't hesitate. They feared. They fell to their knees and begged for mercy. But you—" She paused, tilting her head, studying him as though she could see every shadow that lived in him. "You don't know what you feel." He finally found his voice, though it rasped like gravel. "I've seen too much to fear. And I buried desire years ago." The woman's eyes glimmered, not with surprise but with recognition, as if she had heard those same words from countless men before him. She stepped closer still, the hem of her dress brushing the sand, and the cowboy could feel the faintest chill that clung to her presence. She wasn't like any nun he had ever seen. She wasn't like any woman at all. The desert wind grew stronger, tugging at his hat, rustling the veil that framed her pale face. "You cannot bury desire, cowboy," she murmured, her voice dropping lower, intimate now, dangerous. "It digs itself free, even from the deepest graves. And fear has never left you. It hides in your silence, in the way your hand never strays far from your gun, in the way you guard your heart as if it were gold. But tell me, tonight, in the shadow of this desert moon, when there is no law, no church, no soul to bear witness, which rules you more? Fear or desire? The cowboy's chest heaved with the weight of the choice she laid before him. He felt the sweat bead on his brow despite the cold night, his instincts urging him to ride away, to leave this strange encounter behind. Yet something anchored him, some pull stronger than reason. He reached for words, but none came. Instead, he met her gaze, eyes steady, unflinching. And for the first time in years, he felt alive, not in the safety of control, but in the dangerous precipice of surrender. She smiled again, and this time it was almost tender, though still lined with danger. "Good," she said softly, almost to herself. "You may be the one I've been waiting for."